Hey, what's up everybody? What is the best silver for stacking? We're going to talk about that on this video. Now, I know there has been many videos created on this topic. I've made a video or two, and I know there's other channels who have made several videos on this topic. But I still get the question in my comment section, what is the best silver for stacking? So we're going to talk about that on this video. Now, even though there has been many videos created on this topic, after a certain amount of time has passed, a lot of these videos end up in what I like to call is YouTube's graveyard. They're not suggested anymore, and you just don't get notified on them. So the only way to find them is actually going into, your favorite YouTube channels, going into their video catalog, click on oldest first, and just keep on going through them until you find a video that you want to watch. So that's why a lot of these videos that have been made over and over again have to keep on being made, because you're not going to see them otherwise, unless you go through all the older videos, which is really time consuming. So the question is, what is the best silver for stacking? Now, for someone who's new to stacking silver, it can be very overwhelming. There's a lot of options out there. There's always new releases coming out, and I think even though this video is not about collecting, I'm going to touch on a little bit of collecting silver, a little bit of collector pieces, because it can be very confusing as to what is for stacking and what is for collecting. I like that term, buy what you like, in some cases. But if you are just stacking for if you're a prepper for SHTF, or if you're just stacking for wealth preservation, and you don't want to really put your money into how you could possibly lose a little bit more money, you want to put it in the cheapest silver over spot. So that's what we're going to talk about. So when I first got into stacking silver, 2015, 2016-ish, I was stacking what I like to call medium range premium over spot. Medium. I wasn't really buying high premium silver. High premium silver, if 1 ounce of silver, $100, that's high premium. But medium range over spot is something like Perth Mint coins. Perth Mint. I love the Perth Mint. I love the Kookaburras. I love the koalas. But they're a little bit expensive. They're usually your Kookaburras, your koalas, your Perth Mint, they're what you would call better bullion. They're usually not going to milk spot. They're usually going to come in a capsule like this, but the cost over spot is usually going to be $3.50 to $4, sometimes $5 over spot. So I love buying, Kookaburras and koalas for the collection, but not really to stack. And that, when I first got into it, the mistake that I made was stacking better bullion and not stacking the lower premium bullion coins over spot. So there's a lot of options out there. Kookaburras, Perth Mint stuff is very nice. The designs are very, very cool. I love the Kookaburras. But if you're a stacker for wealth preservation or for SHTF, then I would stay away. At least at first, I would stay away from the Perth Mint stuff that's a little bit higher over spot. Then later on down the line, if you want to get into collecting and buy one of each design, then you can get into the collecting. But when it comes to Perth Mint stuff, these really don't appreciate anymore in value. There's too many of them out there. There's 500,000 of them. A lot of them are graded. So I would stay away from that, at least at first. That then stuff like this, the Mickey Mouse stuff. I would also, unless you're a collector, it's a different story. I mean, I buy these as part of my collection, not as part of my stack or wealth preservation. I know that I'm probably not going to get my money back on a lot of this stuff that has cool designs, like this here is Steamboat Willie. A lot of this stuff, we're not going to get our premiums back. We may not. We may, but we may not get our premiums back on a lot of this stuff. And then you have cool vintage stuff like this. This is Engelhard, Australia, and this is a poured Engelhard bar. Really cool. I actually got this as a trade, but this is very cool. But also, even though it's a bullion, it's a bar, it's generic, but these are a little bit higher over spot. Really cool. And then we have other generic rounds. Now this is generic. These are not too much over spot. These are on Provident Metals. This is Provident Metals, who was recently bought out by JM Bullion, so I don't know if they're going to be doing much stuff like this anymore. That will remain to be seen. But these are what they call the Prospector. Now there's a difference between a Prospector, Engelhard Prospector, which I believe I have somewhere over here. I'm going to have to dig it up. But there's an Engelhard Prospector, and then this is Providence Prospector, which is generic. Now, the best stuff to stack is the debate between generic and between coins. Now, in my belief, the best silver to stack, now people may have a different opinion on this, but I believe the best silver to stack for stacking is going to be bullion coins, but it's not going to be your bullion coins that are, you know, Perth Mint in capsules and the designs change every year. Coins that have designs that change every year are cool, but it's going to cost you a little bit more money over spot. So the best, okay, I was talking about the Engelhard Prospector, that's this right here. But again, the Engelhard Prospector is also a generic round. But because they're not made anymore, they're a little bit of a collector's, a collectible silver piece, because they're not made anymore and they're very sought after. They're very plentiful. You can find them almost anywhere, but they're going to have a higher premium usually. My LCS is pretty good with premiums on these. I believe this was only $250 over spot, which is pretty good for prospectors, for Engelhard Prospectors. But when I'm stacking silver, what I like to stick with is the boring American Silver Eagles. And depending on what country you're from, if you're from Canada, you might like the Canadian Maple Leaf, okay, instead of the American Silver Eagle. Or if you're in the UK, then you might like to stick with the Britannia, which this one here is the Oriental Border, so I wouldn't suggest this one, but just your basic Britannia. Now the designs on these bullion coins don't change every year. They stay the same, which a lot of people don't like, but this is not for collections. This is for stacking for silver weight. Now, a lot of people, the debate is going to be usually between generic silver and government minted coinage. Now, I think government minted coinage is going to have a little bit of a higher premium than just your generic silver rounds and bars. But the reason why I go with government minted coinage is because they're more recognizable. If you walk into your local coin shop, they may or may not know what this is. Especially if there's some generic bars and rounds that don't have any name on them, any design. So people are less likely to know what those are. Now, as far as the premium over spot for American Silver Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs, Britannias, and stuff like this is very minimum. I mean, there's really not a lot of difference over spot between something like this and between a generic silver round or bar. It's going to probably be your most recognizable generic silver, or your private mint is going to be probably Sunshine. Sunshine Minting makes a lot of the planchets for the U.S. Mint, for the American Silver Eagles. The Sunshine bars, 1 ounce Sunshine bar, is gonna probably be about 75 cents to $1 less over spot than American Silver Eagles. But the fact that the American Silver Eagle is recognizable, most people who deal with silver and gold and precious metals know what the American Silver Eagle is. Now, they should also know what the Sunshine Mint is, but more people are going to recognize the American Silver Eagle, and that's why I like to stick with government minted coinage, the ones like this that are lower over spot than the Perth Mint stuff and the Mickey Mouse rounds. And then this one here is also a pretty cool Privateer series round. It's also generic. It's also minted by a private mint, but you're going to pay a lot of money for it because it's a collectible silver piece. And then you have your Port Silver. Port Silver also, to me, Port Silver is more of a novelty or for a collection and not really for stacking, because Port Silver also has a little bit of a higher premium. So for me, now also I forgot to mention Constitutional Silver. If you're stacking for SHTF and it's something that's for bartering or even just for stacking, Constitutional Silver, you're going to find a lot of times very close to spot, if not for spot, or in some cases under spot. So the best coinage to me, the best silver to stack for me, is going to be Constitutional Silver. And if you're in the United States, American Silver Eagles. American Silver Eagles are cheaper if you buy them by the tube, or, you know, if you have the funds, buy the monster box. But I know a lot of people like myself don't have the money available to buy the monster box, so we buy them individually like this. Now, they don't come in capsules. Capsules is something you would have to buy extra. I'm not a big fan of buying capsules. I would rather buy an empty tube and stack them in tubes. Even if you buy them individually, you can buy a tube usually for $2, $1 to $2, where capsules are usually going to cost you, you know, at least 15 cents, 20 cents to $1 a piece, depending on where you buy them. So that's what I like to buy. This video is getting a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but there's a lot of information out there, a lot of stuff. And then this here is also made by a private mint, Scottsdale Mint. They do a lot of generic bars and rounds, but they are a little bit of a higher premium. Scottsdale is a private mint, but they come with a premium. And then these are actually coins that was made for a country. I believe this is a island. This is the 2017 Marlin. I forget the country that these were made for. But these also have a higher premium, even though they are made by a private mint. So those are all things you should be considering when you are trying to decide what silver is best for stacking. So once again, just to sum it up, for me, the best silver for stacking is Constitutional. Government minted coins, usually the designs that stay the same every year. The only thing that changes on them are the dates. So that would be American Silver Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs, Britannias. We didn't talk much about Chinese Silver Pandas, even though those are bullion coins. They come with a premium because the design changes every year. That to me is just not what a stacker for wealth preservation or for SHTF should be buying. It should be American Silver Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs. If you want to buy generic, sometimes you can buy them a little bit cheaper over spot than your bullion coins like these. But then you have to factor in, are they recognizable when you go to sell them? Are people going to know what those are without testing them? And then they probably are going to, they might want to test them first to make sure that they are actually 3 9s or 4 9s fine silver. But usually with government minted coins, American Silver Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs, Britannia, stuff like that, you're usually not going to have a problem buying those. And then I would also stay away from slabbed coins like this. Rather, it's American Silver Eagles. That's the biggest waste of money in my mind, is buying American Silver Eagles and Canadian Maple Leafs slabbed, because these are just bullion coins. There's no collector appeal or collector's value to them. They're just bullion. So I would stay away from slabbed coins like that. So anyway, this video's been a lot longer than I thought it would be. Please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate everybody for watching, listening. If you have any questions, comments, leave it in the comment section below. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Thanks to everybody for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to everybody on my next video. Thanks a lot, everyone.